Heaven's portal is open. God says, if you see this before midnight, your lost fortune will return within 72 hours. My beloved soul, do you feel that sudden stirring within? That pulse in your spirit is not ordinary. Heaven's gates are moving. Archangel Michael stands at the threshold of divine portals, holding the keys of restoration. He whispers, the window is open, but only for those who are awake before midnight. Yes, the time has come for the great return, the return of what was stolen, delayed, or forgotten. There are moments when heaven interrupts the natural order, when light bends time itself. This is one of those moments. If you are hearing this, it means your name was written for this hour. Your losses, the wealth that slipped away, the opportunities that scattered like dust, they are being counted by celestial hands. God says, I have seen your tears and I am commanding your fortune to find you again. Do you remember the season when everything you touched fell apart? The business that vanished, the love that faded, the money that drained without reason. Archangel Michael reveals that those were not coincidences. They were tests. The enemy thought you'd stay broken, but heaven's ledger never forgets what belongs to the faithful. And tonight, before midnight, the angelic portal of recompense opens wide. Michael stands with a sword of light, cutting cords of delay. He declares, every chain holding your inheritance is melting away under the fire of divine justice. This is not imagination, it's manifestation. God says, within 72 hours, what was lost will return, multiplied by mercy. You have been chosen to witness the unseen realm responding to your faith. So hold on. What comes next will reveal the mystery of why your loss had to happen first. You'll want to hear this next part carefully, because what unfolds next carries the activation. Before you scroll, breathe deeply. This is where it gets intense. Type I receive the return in the comments if this message burns in your spirit. Blessing code 441 has been released. Dearest one, as the clock of heaven turns, the angels begin to move in patterns unseen by human eyes. Archangel Michael now descends through streams of golden light, carrying scrolls sealed by the breath of God. On those scrolls are written names of those who have suffered loss, disappointment, and delay. And if you are hearing this message right now, your name is among them. Michael says, the ledger of heaven is being balanced, and what was unjustly taken shall be restored. For too long, you have felt as if your prayers vanished into silence. You've wondered if God forgot the promises once spoken over your life. But child of light, heaven never forgets. There is no unanswered prayer that does not echo in eternity. What seemed like divine delay was only preparation for an explosion of restoration. Archangel Michael stands in your defense, battling unseen forces that tried to lock your blessings in spiritual vaults. Those vaults are breaking open tonight. Listen carefully. This is not an ordinary season. The words heaven's portal is open are not poetic metaphors. They are divine coordinates. When heaven opens a portal, it means the laws of time and space yield to divine decree. Things that should take months begin to move in hours. Doors that were welded shut by human resistance suddenly swing open with divine force. Michael says, tell them that the hour of quick release has come. The winds of restoration are already blowing. You have cried over lost money, missed opportunities, friendships that betrayed you, or dreams that withered before blooming. But hear this. God allowed certain things to fall apart so that you could see who truly stood with you when you had nothing. That revelation was part of your training. You were never losing. You were being positioned. For how could God return your fortune unless something had first been lost? The fall was necessary so the rising could be miraculous. Every delay you endured was a disguised alignment. Heaven was recalibrating your destiny, so that when the portal opened, nothing could block your inheritance again. Archangel Michael says that there are spiritual scrolls being unsealed right now. Scrolls of remembrance. These scrolls carry the record of your faithfulness, your giving, your patience, your kindness, even when you were unseen. And the Lord says, because you remained faithful when others mocked your hope, I now command abundance to flow toward you. There is a sound in the spirit realm, like rushing water over ancient stones. It is the sound of blessings returning home. Lost investments, forgotten opportunities, even the people who once turned away. Everything that belongs to your destiny is now remembering your name. For the next 72 hours, angels of retrieval are being dispatched to recover what you thought was gone forever. And this is not just symbolic wealth. It's restoration in every dimension: health, relationships, finances, purpose, and peace. God's word says, I will restore the years that the locusts have eaten. That verse is alive right now, breathing through the very air around you. Michael stands as witness that the locusts have been defeated. Every devourer that drained your energy, your resources, or your confidence is now silenced. You are standing at the threshold of divine recompense. And though you cannot see it with your eyes, heaven's gate is swinging wide, releasing waves of divine currency into your reality. There is a prophetic pattern forming in your life. The number 3 appears repeatedly. 3 days, 72 hours, divine completion. In this window, align your spirit through faith and thanksgiving. Speak as if the blessing has already arrived, because in the unseen realm, it has. Archangel Michael commands that your words now act as magnets for restoration. When you declare gratitude, heaven releases acceleration. When you speak faith, angels multiply their movement. You are not waiting for your miracle. Your miracle is waiting for your agreement. Do not underestimate what is happening right now. Even as you listen, angels are moving through timelines, past mistakes, past betrayals, past decisions that once closed doors, and they are writing outcomes by divine authority. God is redeeming your story in layers. What was once a loss will soon become the very proof of His power. The same people who doubted you will witness your restoration and know it was not human effort, it was divine orchestration. And yet, Archangel Michael cautions this: do not let fear interrupt your reception. Doubt is a thief. It disguises itself as logic and whispers that nothing can change. But God says, if you believe, you will see my glory within 72 hours. That belief is the key that opens the heavenly vault. The portal responds not to need, but to faith. So lift your heart in silent agreement and say, I receive what is already mine. The moment you do, energy begins to shift around you. Hold on now, because the next revelation will unveil the mystery behind the timing of this divine opening. Before you move away, take a breath and stay with this flow. What's coming next carries the activation that seals your restoration. You'll thank yourself for not scrolling, because the next message will release the decree that finalizes your return. Type I align with heaven in the comments if this word is confirming something in your spirit. Blessing code 992 has been activated. Beloved vessel of light, the hour you were born for has arrived. The heavens are trembling with movement, and Archangel Michael stands upon the threshold, his wings ablaze with divine fire. The sound of shofars echoes across the realms of glory, announcing that the season of restoration is no longer a promise, it is a decree. God has opened a supernatural transaction, and your name is inscribed on the scroll of divine repayment. This message is not coincidence. It is appointment. If you are seeing this before midnight, it is the proof that heaven has chosen you to witness what many have prayed to experience. Archangel Michael speaks softly now, yet with the authority of heaven itself. Tell them, he says, the portal is not open to everyone, but only to those whose hearts remain pure in the storm. Only those who forgave, who trusted, who gave even when they had little, are ready to receive. And heaven records your endurance. Every tear you shed became a seed of light. Every act of kindness you gave became a spiritual investment. The time for harvest is here. The lost fortune that vanished in confusion, betrayal, or manipulation is being summoned by angels of recovery. Michael stands before a river of liquid gold that flows from the throne of God. He dips his sword into that river and lifts it high. The golden drops fall to the earth like rain, and wherever they land, restoration takes root. God says, every seed sown in faith shall now produce fruit without delay. This is why you are hearing this message tonight. The atmosphere is charged with divine energy. The very air around you carries the frequency of breakthrough. The delay that once mocked your hope has expired. Do you remember how certain doors seemed permanently closed? Those job opportunities that fell apart, that dream project that failed, that person who left without explanation, all of it seemed like loss. But heaven says it was redirection. God closed those doors not to punish you, but to preserve you for a greater opening. Archangel Michael reveals that what was denied was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to align you. And now that alignment is complete. The portal above your life is shimmering with light, ready to release what was withheld. Heaven has been counting every moment of your endurance. When you prayed and felt no answer, heaven recorded the sound of your faith. When you gave out of your lack, heaven multiplied the vibration of your generosity. When you kept silent instead of seeking revenge, heaven crowned your restraint with favor. Archangel Michael declares, every righteous act has built a bridge between your now and your promise. The bridge is finished. Now, the blessings are crossing over into your timeline. God says, what you thought you lost was never lost to me. I hid it so I could return it multiplied. The divine economy never forgets a transaction made in faith. There are angels of exchange who operate under heaven's financial laws, and they have been commanded to move in your direction. This is not just about money, it is about wholeness. Your lost confidence, your drained joy, your forgotten dreams, they are all included in this recovery decree. For 72 hours, the spiritual currents are aligning with supernatural precision. Michael says that when the clock strikes midnight, the final seal of return is set in motion. You may begin to notice unusual signs, repeated numbers, unexpected messages, prophetic dreams, sudden peace after turmoil. These are confirmations from heaven that the portal is active. Your task is simple. Remain in gratitude and expectation. The more you thank God for what is coming, the faster the unseen becomes visible. Beloved, understand this divine mystery. Faith is not waiting. Faith is walking as if it has already happened. When you wake up tomorrow, act as though your restoration has already arrived. Speak words of life. Refuse doubt. Archangel Michael will be near, watching over your words, amplifying your declarations into the spiritual atmosphere. You are a co-creator with heaven now. What you decree shall manifest. For the power of life and restoration is already flowing through you. And as you hear these words, heaven whispers, do not doubt the method. Do not fear the timing. Only believe. For even now, angels are placing names on doors of opportunity. Your name is being written where decisions are made in your favor. People you do not know are being stirred to think of you, to open paths you cannot see. This is divine orchestration, heaven's unseen hand guiding earthly events. Before you move forward, let your heart be still. The next revelation will unveil the ancient secret behind divine recompense, why God waits until the darkest hour before releasing the brightest light. Trust me, you do not want to miss what comes next. The moment you understand that mystery, you'll know exactly how to unlock the flow of abundance without resistance. Before that, pause and seal this word in your spirit. Declare with your mouth, I receive the restoration promised to me. Let heaven hear your agreement. This is your activation moment, the alignment that brings the miracle closer. If this message has stirred something inside you, like, share, and comment to spread the fire of this revelation, so others can also receive their breakthrough. Hype this word and subscribe to the channel so that you never miss what heaven releases next, because each message carries a new prophetic frequency that connects directly with your destiny. Type I am in divine alignment in the comments if this word has spoken to your heart. Blessing code 774 is now released over your life. Child of destiny, as this word flows into your spirit, remember, every seed you sow into this divine work fuels the spreading of heaven's light across nations. When you support this mission, you are not just giving, you are igniting souls to awaken under God's voice. The word says, give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. I declare this over you right now. Your giving becomes a river of restoration that heaven multiplies. I feel led to speak directly to your heart. Your act of faith today will unlock someone else's miracle tomorrow. The same fire that restores your fortune will flow through your generosity to touch lives across the world. The portals of heaven open wider for givers. If this ministry has blessed you, support through Super Thanks, channel membership, or the PayPal link in the description. This is not donation. It is divine obedience. Step into it boldly and watch the floodgates open over your life. Beloved listener, as the night deepens and the world grows silent, the realms of heaven stir with motion. Archangel Michael stands upon the radiant staircase between eternity and earth, his armor glistening with fire that no darkness can resist. His voice moves like thunder wrapped in peace, declaring, the portal remains open for those who believe. The decree of restoration has not been withdrawn. It is intensifying. Every second that passes before midnight carries spiritual electricity. The atmosphere around you is charged with unspoken power, and those who discern it will feel a pulse rising from within, an unmistakable sense that something vast is shifting. God says, tell my children that the hour of transformation is hidden within ordinary moments. You might be doing the simplest thing, resting, praying softly, or simply thinking of hope, when the divine alignment suddenly activates. The angels are not moved by noise. They are moved by faith. The unseen realm does not respond to panic, but to peace. That peace, born from trust, becomes a magnet for miracles. Archangel Michael reveals that the energy of gratitude opens pathways even faster than words of demand. So in this moment, wherever you are, whisper thankfulness for what has already been decreed. Heaven responds to recognition. You may have wondered why the battle over your life has felt heavier recently. The truth is, resistance increases when restoration is near. Every spiritual adversary can sense the vibration of breakthrough before it manifests, and they try to cloud your thoughts with confusion or fatigue. But Michael's sword of light cuts through those distractions now. He says, do not mistake pressure for punishment. It is proof of proximity. You are closer than you realize. The shaking you feel is not destruction. It is the sound of locked gates breaking open. The wealth that was once trapped in delay is now being released from the grip of the devourer. Child of destiny, listen carefully. Heaven does not measure time the way humans do. The 72 hours of activation are divine windows, not earthly minutes. When God says restoration will occur within that frame, He means the process begins in the spirit and manifests in the natural as you align. This is why faith must remain unbroken. Archangel Michael warns that doubt resets the alignment, causing the flow to pause. But unwavering trust keeps the channel clear. Right now, heaven's current is running straight toward you, bringing opportunities, divine encounters, and unexpected favor. God's hand is upon every area where you once felt abandoned. The relationship that ended painfully, the career that dissolved, the idea that never took off, each of these areas is being touched by divine light. Michael says, the things you thought were buried are not dead, they were planted. What was planted must now rise. The soil of your disappointment is breaking open to reveal new fruit. You may not see the full harvest instantly, but the sprouts of renewal are already emerging. Heaven's economy never loses balance. Every loss was recorded, every tear was catalogued. The scales are turning in your favor. Close your eyes and sense it, the weight lifting, the peace replacing fear, the warmth that enters when you believe again. That sensation is not imagination, it is presence. The Holy Spirit is moving through your timeline, gathering fragments of your lost fortune from different seasons and drawing them back into one cohesive story. Your restoration will not come from one source, but from many. People you never expected will suddenly remember you. Doors you once knocked on will open on their own. Archangel Michael's decree ensures that no interference can block what God has sanctioned. The Spirit says, do not chase the blessing. Let the blessing locate you. There is no need to strive or struggle. You are stepping into a magnetic season where everything you need will be drawn toward your light. But you must stay in the frequency of gratitude and surrender. When you release the need to control outcomes, you make room for divine orchestration. That is where miracles thrive, in the space of surrendered faith. Michael is commanding his legion to move with speed, ensuring that nothing delays your return. You might sense a change in your environment in the coming hours, an unusual stillness, a quiet vibration, or moments of divine clarity. These are signs that the angelic forces are near. Michael says, when you sense peace after turbulence, it is a sign that heaven has entered your atmosphere. Do not dismiss these moments. Acknowledge them. Speak aloud. Heaven is here. The moment you do, your awareness merges with divine timing. Every act of faith is recorded as a key, and those keys unlock further access. As the midnight hour approaches, understand that the open portal is not an event but a process, a continuous stream that you may return to through prayer, worship, and faith. When the 72-hour cycle begins, you are not just receiving blessings, you are entering a covenant of restoration. God is rebuilding not just your finances, but your identity. The version of you that suffered loss is being replaced by the version heaven always intended, strong, wise, radiant, and whole. Archangel Michael stands ready to release the next command, but he whispers one final instruction. Do not let the noise of the world drown out the whisper of heaven. The next revelation will uncover the secret behind divine acceleration, how God compresses time for His chosen ones. Stay with this message, for the next release carries the code that will transform understanding into manifestation. Wait for it, because what's coming next is beyond logic. It's divine speed made visible. Type "I claim my divine harvest" in the comments if this message resonates within your soul. Blessing code 556 is now activated over your life. Chosen vessel of light, a sacred stillness now surrounds you. Heaven is leaning close, and the voice of Archangel Michael cuts through the veil like a sword of living fire. He declares, the momentum has begun. What was delayed for years is now accelerating toward completion. This is not poetic language. It is a literal transaction in the unseen. The portal that opened before midnight is now in full activation. The winds of restoration have shifted, and the heavens are transferring wealth, healing, and reconciliation into the hands of those whose faith has remained. You have stepped into the corridor of divine return. God speaks clearly. I am multiplying back to you everything the enemy touched. These are not empty promises. Each word is creative power. When God speaks, the universe rearranges itself to obey. Even now, timelines are bending in your favor. People are waking up with thoughts of you. Opportunities are being rewritten, and paths that once looked impassable are now clearing by invisible hands. Archangel Michael oversees this divine operation, ensuring that every blessing dispatched reaches its rightful owner. He stands as heaven's general, demanding legions to retrieve what belongs to you. But the Spirit reminds you that every restoration must be anchored in gratitude. God cannot pour new oil into hearts filled with bitterness or resentment. This is why the trials came, to purify you, to shape you, to make your spirit ready to handle overflow without losing humility. Archangel Michael says, the anointing you carry now did not come cheaply. It was forged in the fire of loss. You are no longer who you were when the storm began. Heaven has matured your faith and expanded your capacity to receive. What is coming next will require your full awareness, for abundance without alignment can be a burden. Do not be surprised if old memories resurface, or if certain people try to reappear from the past. These are spiritual indicators that your restoration has begun. When lost connections reemerge, discern whether they are meant to be redeemed or released. Michael warns, not every return is divine. Some doors are meant to stay closed so that new ones may open freely. The discernment you walk in now will protect your future. God is not only returning what was lost, He is filtering it, ensuring that only what carries His breath remains. You are entering what heaven calls the hour of divine compression. It is the season where God does in days what would normally take years. This is the mystery of acceleration. When the portal is open, the usual order of cause and effect bends to divine will. Michael's legions are compressing time around your assignments. What you thought was far away is suddenly within reach. God says, I will cause you to recover, and one encounter what you thought was gone forever. Expect swift changes. Sudden phone calls. Unplanned meetings that shift your direction. These are not coincidences. They are divine catalysts. Beloved, do not underestimate the significance of this message. The heavens do not speak idly. When an angel of Michael's rank appears in the flow of prophecy, it means something monumental is unfolding in the spiritual landscape. This is not a random word for comfort. It is an operation of restoration at a global level. Many who hear this message will feel the tangible presence of peace and confirmation. That is the evidence of activation. For heaven never sends revelation without manifestation following it. Now, hear the secret. The power of agreement multiplies the speed of blessing. When you speak words of faith aloud, the angels gain authority to act faster. Your declarations become blueprints that they follow. So declare this now in your heart. My restoration is in motion, and nothing can stop it. Feel the weight of that sentence. It is not just affirmation, it is legislation in the spirit. You are co-authoring the next chapter of your destiny alongside heaven. Each word you speak in alignment with faith builds structure around your miracle. There are moments when the spiritual acceleration can feel overwhelming. You may feel emotional surges, vivid dreams, or unexpected memories surfacing. Do not fear them. Michael says, it is the clearing before the release. Your soul is adjusting to a higher frequency of divine flow. As heaven expands your capacity, your mind and heart will feel stretched. Welcome the process. The tension you sense is not resistance. It is expansion. The more you allow this transformation, the faster your restoration multiplies. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a vault in heaven filled with golden light. Each beam within it represents blessings stored for you, gifts, opportunities, divine connections, strength, peace, love. See Archangel Michael opening that vault. See him extending his hand and saying, take what belongs to you. This is the moment of retrieval. Every time you choose to believe, another layer of that vault opens. The process continues until the full inheritance is released. That is why consistent faith is vital. It keeps the vault active. God's word is final. I will cause rivers to spring forth in your desert. Even the barren areas of your life will blossom again. Where you once saw endings, you will soon witness beginnings. When there was silence, there will be song. Heaven has written your timeline, and the next 72 hours will serve as the visible proof. Archangel Michael says, those who mocked your hope will witness your vindication. This is not about revenge. It is about divine justice. Heaven always restores with testimony. Beloved, this is the time to anchor yourself in stillness. The coming revelation will reveal how to sustain the flow once restoration begins. You are about to learn the law of divine preservation, the secret that keeps restored blessings from fading. Stay attentive, for the next message holds the blueprint of continuity. Wait for it, because the transition from restoration to preservation is where lasting abundance is born. Type I stand in heaven's flow in the comments if this message aligns with your spirit. Blessing code 883 has just been released over your life. Beloved soul of purpose, the current of heaven continues to rise around you. The divine wind is no longer whispering. It is roaring with movement. Archangel Michael now walks through the corridors of time, holding a scroll that glows with the fire of restoration. Upon it are written the names of those who have entered this divine alignment, and yours shines among them. He says, tell them the vault is open. The harvest is in motion. What was trapped is now flowing freely. God himself decreed that nothing stolen shall remain hidden, and the angels are retrieving it now. You are standing in a realm where delay has no authority. Listen closely. Every act of faith you have shown, every tear you have cried, and every prayer you have whispered in the dark has become currency in heaven's economy. The time has come for that currency to return to you in multiplied form. God says, I have seen the faith that did not break when everything else did, and now I will return it with interest. That word, interest, is heaven's mathematics of restoration. What was taken unjustly will not return as it was. It will return greater, refined, and dripping with glory. Michael's sword burns brighter tonight. He swings it through the unseen dimensions, cutting the cords of spiritual limitation that kept your resources bound. You might feel it in your spirit even now, an invisible pressure lifting from your chest, a sudden clarity in your thoughts, or a quiet calm spreading through your heart. That is not imagination. It is the manifestation of release. Heaven is making space for what is coming. The things you once chased will now begin to chase you. Favor will recognize your name. There is a prophetic law in motion called the law of return. It states that whatever belongs to a child of light cannot perish. It can only change location until faith calls it home. Michael explains that your lost fortune, whether in wealth, opportunity, or relationships, never disappeared. It simply shifted into another realm, waiting for your frequency of belief to rise high enough to retrieve it. And now that your faith has matured through the fires of endurance, heaven is releasing what was withheld. This is the mystery of divine timing. It was never about delay. It was about readiness. God whispers, "The moment you stopped chasing what left, you gave me room to return what was meant." That is the wisdom of restoration. It arrives not through striving but through surrender. Heaven's blessings flow best to hands that are open, not clenched in fear. Tonight, let your spirit release every anxiety about how it will happen. You are not meant to figure it out. You are meant to receive it. Archangel Michael and his legion are working beyond what human logic can comprehend. Even now, they are adjusting conversations, influencing decisions, and shifting hearts to align with your destiny. Some of you will experience sudden breakthroughs within the next 72 hours. Unexpected calls, overdue payments released, lost relationships resurfacing in peace. Others will notice signs, recurring numbers, peaceful dreams, or unusual calm in your atmosphere. These are confirmations that the divine flow is active. Michael says, do not mistake stillness for inactivity. The quieter it becomes, the faster heaven is working. The unseen realm thrives in silence because that is where obedience takes shape. Every moment of rest and faith accelerates manifestation. Understand this truth: restoration is not limited to one dimension. The fortune returning to you is not merely financial. It includes emotional healing, spiritual elevation, creative inspiration, and divine partnerships. God's plan of return is total. You will see old fears replaced with new confidence. The weariness that once covered your hope will fall off like ash from fire. You will look at your life and see evidence that heaven has intervened. Michael's mission is not just to bring things back, but to rebuild what was broken into something indestructible. Child of promise, take note of the shift in your atmosphere. Time itself feels different when heaven is near. What once seemed urgent now feels effortless. That sensation is the rhythm of grace. God is reordering your pace so that blessings do not overwhelm you. Every divine return must be sustained by peace, or it collapses under pressure. That is why the next phase of this journey is called preservation. Michael says, tell them that the hand that restores also protects. The same power that opened the portal now guards it, ensuring your abundance remains untouchable. The Spirit speaks softly now. Do not fear the speed of change. I am not rushing you. I am fulfilling what was delayed. This is divine catching up. Everything that should have happened in past seasons is converging into this one. You are stepping into the rhythm of redemption, where missed opportunities and lost years combine to produce supernatural momentum. Heaven calls it recovered time. You will soon realize that you did not lose years. You were being prepared to gain decades of progress in one divine moment. Before you turn away, hear this final truth. You are no longer waiting for the promise. The promise is waiting for you to acknowledge it. Speak aloud. I am ready for divine restoration. When you say those words, you create resonance with the open portal. Heaven listens for agreement. Each declaration seals your alignment. Archangel Michael nods and raises his sword toward heaven's throne, confirming your readiness before the Almighty. The decree is sealed. Your restoration is now irreversible. Hold steady. The next revelation will unveil the mystery of divine preservation, the shield that guards restored blessings from being lost again. This is where God teaches how to dwell in sustained overflow. Stay connected, for what's coming next carries the blueprint to keep your regained fortune protected for generations. You will thank yourself for staying through the next release. Type "I receive the full restoration" in the comments if this word resonates with your spirit. Blessing code 919 is now activated and sealed over your life. Velo Spirit of Light, the heavens still tremble with motion as divine energy continues to pour through the open portal. Archangel Michael stands guard over the river of restoration, ensuring that every current of blessing finds its rightful destination. He speaks now with clarity that shakes the very foundation of despair. Tell them, the flow has not stopped. It has only deepened. The Father has commanded that nothing taken from the faithful shall remain in darkness any longer. The sound of those words vibrates through the unseen, stirring dormant promises back to life. You can feel it even now, the quiet assurance that the impossible is unfolding. This is the moment when the power of divine preservation begins its work. Restoration is the returning of what was lost, but preservation is the keeping of what has been returned. Archangel Michael explains that preservation is not passive. It is active partnership. It is the alignment of your heart with heaven's rhythms so that nothing leaks through the cracks of distraction or fear. God says, "I am not only restoring your fortune, I am teaching you to hold it without breaking under the weight of it." This is why your process has taken time. He was strengthening your vessel. There's a difference between sudden blessing and sustained blessing. Many receive miracles quickly, but few learn how to remain in the miracle's frequency. Michael says, "Tell them, preservation begins with purity." That purity is not about perfection. It is about focus. When your eyes remain on the giver rather than the gift, the flow remains open. Gratitude becomes your shield. Every time you thank God for what you have, you reinforce heaven's bridge over your life. The more you express appreciation, the harder it becomes for darkness to access your flow. God reminds you, the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But I have come that you may have life and have it abundantly. That abundance is not fragile. It is built upon obedience, faith, and wisdom. The lessons of loss were never punishment. They were preparation for stewardship. When you lost certain things, you learned to discern value. When people left, you learned loyalty. When opportunities collapsed, you learned patience. All those lessons are ingredients in the formula of preservation. Heaven does not waste pain. It converts it into understanding. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the light surrounding you growing thicker, like gold mist. That is the presence of divine sealing. Archangel Michael is commanding his angels to mark every restored blessing with heavenly protection. He declares, "What is sealed by light cannot be taken by shadow." The promises returned to you will now carry an invisible covering. Even if the enemy tries to approach, he will find no doorway. The protection is not only around you, but within you, in your discernment, in your choices, in your peace. There is a reason why peace is called armor. It shields you from panic when circumstances seem uncertain. Peace is not the absence of conflict. It is authority over chaos. When you walk in peace, you move in the same rhythm as heaven. That rhythm keeps blessings from draining away through fear or distraction. Michael says, "Guard your peace as you would guard treasure, because it is the anchor of preservation." Every morning, speak life over your blessings. Declare, "What God has restored remains secure." Each word you speak strengthens the hedge around your inheritance. In the days ahead, do not be alarmed if life begins to rearrange again. Preservation often requires pruning. God may remove unnecessary people or activities so that what is essential can thrive. Archangel Michael cautions, do not mourn the pruning. Celebrate it. It is proof that your roots are growing deeper. When you release what no longer aligns, you make space for new streams of divine supply. This process may feel like loss, but it is divine maintenance, a cleansing that ensures your blessings remain pure and sustainable. Understand, beloved, that divine preservation is not only about material stability, it is also about emotional and spiritual longevity. God wants you to live without fear of loss. The memory of past scarcity sometimes creates anxiety even after abundance returns. That is why heaven now sends peace like oil to anoint your mind. Michael's wings spread wide, releasing a flow of golden calm over your thoughts. He whispers, the past cannot repeat itself when heaven has rewritten your story. Let those words settle into you. Every shadow of fear evaporates under their truth. Heaven's light is patient but precise. The same way a gardener tends new growth, God is nurturing your new season. You will not have to fight to keep what has been restored. You only have to remain in gratitude, obedience, and awareness. The divine economy is self-sustaining when your heart stays humble. The portal that opened before midnight did not close. It adjusted its frequency to match the maturity of your spirit. That means the flow is ongoing, not temporary. The preservation of your fortune will become generational, touching those who come after you. And now, Archangel Michael raises his voice once more. Tell them the cycle of loss has ended. The door that once swung both ways will now open only forward. They are stepping into a one-way covenant of growth. Those who receive this word are crossing into irreversible favor. Heaven's law is active. Blessings preserved multiply themselves. What you maintain through faith will expand without effort. You are stepping into the rhythm of continuous increase, the place where miracles no longer surprise you because they have become your normal. Beloved, pause now and breathe. Feel the calm that covers you like a mantle. That calm is confirmation that heaven has secured your restoration. The next revelation will unveil the hidden blueprint for divine multiplication, how God turns preservation into overflow. Stay attentive, because this next part will teach you to walk not just in recovery, but in creative abundance. Hold this frequency, for the next unfolding carries the formula that transforms blessing into legacy. Type I am sealed in God's light in the comments if this word has spoken to your heart. Blessing code 404 has now been released over your restored life. Beloved vessel of divine purpose, the winds of heaven still move through the portals of restoration. The night may seem quiet, but in the unseen, the sound of divine multiplication is echoing through creation. Archangel Michael stands once again before the throne of God, surrounded by a brilliance so bright that even angels bow their wings in reverence. He holds a chalice overflowing with golden light, and from it, rivers of increase flow toward those whose hearts are aligned with heaven's rhythm. He speaks now with a steady voice that shakes the realm of delay. Tell them, the season of restoration is complete. The hour of multiplication has begun. Child of eternity, understand this truth. Restoration gives back what was lost, but multiplication gives beyond what was imagined. God never restores to the original measure. He always exceeds it. When He commanded the return of your fortune, He also decreed its expansion. Michael declares, every blessing you have received will now begin to reproduce after its kind. The relationships healed will birth new partnerships. The money returned will open new streams. The dreams revived will attract new opportunities. The seed has matured into harvest, and the harvest is destined to overflow. God whispers, my abundance does not come in portions. It comes in floods. The flow you feel now is only the beginning of a river that will not run dry. Every day forward, the divine current will intensify, bringing new manifestations of favor and success. But heaven warns, multiplication is not sustained by greed, it is sustained by generosity. The more you release, the more you receive. Archangel Michael says, those who try to hoard what heaven gives will see it stagnate, but those who share it will see it multiply endlessly. You are not a container of blessing. You are a conduit of it. Look back for a moment at what you have overcome. The storms that once threatened to destroy you have become the very soil that now feeds your increase. Every failure refined your wisdom. Every loss purified your motives. Every delay strengthened your patience. God never wastes experience. The pain that humbled you has become the foundation for authority. That is why the season of multiplication cannot be reversed. You are no longer the same person who lost everything. Heaven recognizes your new frequency. You have graduated into the vibration of abundance. Michael now lifts his sword toward heaven, and tongues of light erupt from its edge. These flames represent the release of ideas, opportunities, and divine collaborations that will lead to extraordinary expansion. You may feel prompted to start something new, reach out to someone, or step into an unfamiliar space. Follow that prompting. It is divine strategy disguised as inspiration. God will now use your creativity as the vessel for multiplication. Every inspired action you take will create ripples of blessing far beyond what you can calculate. The Lord says, I am giving you power to create wealth, not only for yourself, but for my kingdom. This wealth is not limited to currency. It includes influence, wisdom, creativity, and authority. You are being positioned to impact others through what you carry. Michael reveals that every act of obedience, every step of faith, releases a wave that touches countless lives. The return of your fortune was not for accumulation. It was for activation. You are being called to multiply blessings on behalf of heaven. Do not fear the responsibility of increase. You are not alone in this journey. Archangel Michael and his legions surround you like an army of light, ensuring that no interference corrupts your flow. He says, as they increase, I will guard their gates. No shadow shall steal their portion. This promise means that your expansion will come with divine security. You do not have to strive to keep it. You only have to stay connected through gratitude and obedience. Now, listen closely to this sacred mystery. Multiplication thrives in movement. When you act in faith, even small actions create exponential results. Speak life into your environment. Bless your home, your work, your ideas. Declare aloud, I am a vessel of divine overflow. Those words do not just affirm. They command heaven to release more. God's creative power flows through those who speak with alignment. That is how divine multiplication sustains itself. The atmosphere around you will soon begin to testify of this new phase. Signs of increase will manifest unexpectedly. Debts will clear effortlessly. Doors will open without striving, and peace will accompany every step. You will know it is divine, because the increase will come without exhaustion. Heaven's abundance does not drain. It energizes. This is the rhythm of divine prosperity. Quiet acceleration, graceful expansion, and continuous replenishment. As Michael's presence fills the realm, he looks toward you and says, Do not forget why you were chosen. You are the bridge between heaven's wealth and earth's need. Every act of generosity you make becomes a seed in the soil of eternity. Heaven watches how you release what you receive, and the measure you use determines the measure that returns. This is not a test of charity. It is a law of flow. The more freely you give, the more abundantly you live. Beloved, before this moment passes, pause and seal this message within your heart. The next revelation will unveil the sacred mystery of divine legacy, how the blessings you carry now will transcend generations. You are not just being blessed for yourself, but for those who will come after you. The portal remains open for legacy, and what's coming next will teach you how to anchor your lineage in everlasting favor. Stay with this word. The next unveiling carries eternal significance. If this message has touched your spirit, like, share, and comment so others may enter the same flow of multiplication. Spread this word, subscribe to the channel, and let the world hear what heaven is declaring, because every share becomes a seed that reaches another soul. Type "I live in heaven's overflow" in the comments if this word resonates in your spirit. Blessing code 661 is now released and active in your atmosphere. Beloved bearer of light, as you stand under this downpour of multiplication, remember, every seed you sow into the flow of God's word becomes part of heaven's harvest. When you give, you activate divine circulation. The same river that brings increase to you flows through you to others. The Lord says, "He who waters shall himself be watered." I invite you, not to help a channel, but to join heaven's mission of awakening souls. Your super thanks, your membership, or your offering through the PayPal link in the description is not donation. It is divine partnership. You are sowing into revelation, fueling angels reach across nations. As you release, heaven multiplies your seed, presses it down, shakes it together, and pours it back running over. Step into this prophetic act of giving and watch as your river of multiplication becomes unstoppable. Beloved child of destiny, the night is alive with sacred motion. Heaven's current has not faded. It grows stronger with every heartbeat of faith. Archangel Michael moves across the horizon of eternity, his wings shimmering with radiant blue fire. He declares, "The gates of legacy are opening. The blessings, once scattered, have found their center, and now they shall anchor for generations." You are standing in the era of divine establishment. The restoration you received was never meant to end with you. It was meant to continue through you. God's plan is not temporary blessing, but eternal inheritance. The Spirit of God whispers gently, "What I give to my children, I give to their children's children." The law of divine legacy begins where gratitude meets obedience. You are not only called to enjoy the overflow, you are called to preserve it as testimony. The same portal that poured fortune into your life now pours wisdom to sustain it. Archangel Michael's presence surrounds your household even now. He walks through the spiritual corridors of your bloodline, marking each future generation with the seal of light. The patterns of lack that once repeated themselves are being erased. Heaven decrees, the curse is broken and the covenant is established. God says, "I am rewriting your lineage with favor." This means your children and those connected to you will walk under an umbrella of grace that your endurance has purchased. Every sacrifice, every prayer, every season of waiting has become a seed in heaven's garden. Michael holds a book of remembrance in his hand, and your acts of faith are recorded in gold upon its pages. This book becomes the foundation of generational protection. No demonic cycle, no ancestral chain, no inherited pattern of limitation will survive this divine writing. The Spirit continues, "I am transforming pain into pillars." What you learn through hardship becomes legacy wisdom. The wealth returning to your life carries divine intelligence with it, the kind that cannot be lost, because it is rooted in revelation. You will no longer chase prosperity. Prosperity will chase purpose within you. Every divine idea will multiply into opportunity. Every opportunity will multiply into impact. Michael says, Tell them they are no longer dreamers. They are builders of heaven's pattern on earth. You may feel a sudden pull in your heart, as if something deep within you is waking up. That is the call of legacy responding to this word. The angels are aligning events in your timeline so that your life becomes a testimony of generational blessing. What you start in this season will outlive you. The businesses you build, the art you create, the relationships you nurture, all of it will carry heaven's fingerprint. God is weaving your story into the fabric of his eternal narrative. You are not merely surviving, you are becoming a living monument of grace. Archangel Michael explains that divine legacy requires two keys, remembrance and revelation. Remembrance keeps you humble, and revelation keeps you growing. Never forget the days when all you had was faith. They are the roots that keep your fruit grounded. And remain open to new revelation, for heaven never stops expanding. What you understand today is foundation. What you receive tomorrow is construction. The more you honor both, the stronger your legacy stands. Michael warns, do not let success silence your seeking. Growth without gratitude becomes decay. As this divine current flows, the Lord whispers, I will build through you what no man can tear down. Your name will become synonymous with restoration. Where your family once carried stories of loss, they will now tell stories of abundance. The testimony of divine return will echo through your descendants. This is why the portal remains open. Heaven is sealing the generational contract. Angels of inheritance are releasing scrolls of new beginnings over families that once carried struggle. Some will feel this shift in their homes as peace replacing tension, laughter returning to silence, or unity rising where division once ruled. Do not underestimate these changes. They are not coincidences. They are manifestations of covenant. Michael says, heaven's light is repairing the timeline of your family. Even the years that were lost to strife, illness, or poverty are being redeemed through your obedience. You are the turning point of your lineage. Where there was drought, there will now be fountains. Where there was confusion, there will now be divine clarity. This is legacy, abundance that cannot be reversed because it was birthed in obedience. Take a moment and breathe in this revelation. Feel how heaven's atmosphere expands around you as you acknowledge it. You are not just a receiver. You are a carrier of an eternal code. This code of restoration, preservation, and multiplication now flows in your spiritual DNA. Michael declares, tell them, what is sealed in light will reproduce light. Your children and their children will carry this frequency. They will not struggle to believe in miracles because they will grow up surrounded by them. Your life will be their evidence that God restores completely. The Spirit concludes this message with a final whisper of reassurance. I am the God of continuity. What I begin, I sustain. You can rest in that truth. The portal remains open for your legacy, and nothing can close it. The same favor that lifted you will secure those who follow you. This is the eternal nature of divine blessing. It moves beyond a single life and becomes a stream through generations. Hold this truth close, for the next revelation will unveil the principle of divine witness, a stage where God displays your restoration before those who doubted it. That unveiling will mark the public manifestation of your promise. Stay attentive, because that hour approaches quickly. Type "My legacy is sealed in light" in the comments if this word resonates deeply with your spirit. Blessing code 535 has been released across your bloodline. Be a vessel of heaven. The light around you continues to intensify. The air is heavy with the fragrance of fulfillment. Archangel Michael now stands before the courts of heaven holding the scroll of witness, the document that carries your name and the testimony of what God has done. He speaks. The season of hidden restoration is ending. It is time for manifestation. The world shall now see what heaven has already completed. What was once whispered in prayer will now echo in reality. The evidence of divine favor will surround you like dawn after a long night. This is the hour of divine witness, the moment where God reveals His work openly, not to boast but to testify. Every unseen struggle you endured in silence becomes the foundation of your public victory. Heaven does not exalt pride, it exalts purpose. You are not being raised for recognition, but for revelation. Michael declares, you will stand as proof that heaven restores those who refuse to quit. This moment was written into your timeline long before you knew the word restoration. Every detour, every delay, every disappointment led to this unveiling. The Spirit of God says, I will make your vindication visible. You will not need to defend yourself, for heaven will do it on your behalf. Those who doubted your promise will witness your elevation. Those who dismissed your calling will see the fruit of your endurance. God does not expose to shame His faithful ones. He displays them to inspire faith in others. Your life becomes a prophetic mirror, reflecting the truth that no loss is final in the hands of the Almighty. Even now, heaven prepares the stage for your manifestation. Archangel Michael's sword glows brighter as he commands angels of revelation to move across your path. These angels orchestrate divine meetings, conversations, and circumstances that bring visibility to your blessings. Some of you will find that recognition comes without seeking it. Your work, your words, your faith will begin to draw attention naturally because heaven has breathed upon them. The Lord says, I am breathing on what you built in faith so that it may now speak. The projects that once seemed small will carry divine resonance. What you planted in tears will now bloom in front of many. Do not fear this visibility. It is not worldly fame. It is divine witness. When God raises a testimony, He also equips the heart with humility. You will carry greatness lightly, because you know the cost of grace. The visibility that comes now is not just for you. It is a message to others who are still in the valley of waiting. You will be their evidence that heaven's promises are real. Michael says, your story will open portals for others. Your testimony is a key in disguise. Every word you speak about your journey will release courage into someone else's battle. God's voice speaks again. I am dressing you in the garment of completion. That means your season of wondering is over. You no longer chase answers. Answers chase you. You no longer seek signs. You have become one. The fullness of divine purpose is now aligning within you. The blessings you once prayed for will not just arrive. They will integrate into your daily reality. What used to feel distant will become ordinary, because abundance will feel natural. You will live inside what you once longed for. Beloved, remember that divine witness also brings divine responsibility. When heaven displays you, it expects integrity. The same light that reveals your victory can also test your humility. Michael's instruction is clear. Remain anchored in gratitude. Gratitude protects glory from becoming vanity. Every time you give thanks, you remind heaven that you remember the source. The key to sustaining public favor is private worship. Never allow applause to replace intimacy. What made you chosen will keep you chosen. Your reverence. This manifestation will not be without awe. People will marvel at how quickly things shift in your favor. They will call it luck, but you will know it is law, the law of divine return. Heaven operates on completion. When it begins a work, it must reveal it. The manifestation you are about to witness is not sudden. It is the harvest of every hidden seed of obedience. The soil of faith always produces in its appointed time. Now that the timing has arrived, everything accelerates. What once took years will now take weeks. Michael stands beside you even now, ensuring that no shadow interrupts this unveiling. He says, "The testimony must be pure, the glory undivided. Therefore, let your words in this season be seasoned with humility and truth. Speak only what builds, not what boasts. You are not just a receiver of blessings, you are a messenger of the covenant. Every blessing carries instruction. Ask heaven daily how to steward what you receive, for wisdom is the companion of favor." Pause here and feel the weight of this transition. The hidden has become visible. The private has become public. You are standing in the revelation of completion. The Spirit whispers, "I am sealing you in visibility that honors me." That means your success will never lead you away from God. It will lead others toward Him. The portal remains open, not just to release blessings, but to amplify testimony. You are heaven's declaration in motion. The world shall see and know that the God of restoration lives. He loved. The next revelation will unveil the divine principle of overflow that never ends, the final stage of this heavenly sequence. It will reveal how to sustain unending flow and turn restoration into revival. Stay connected, because the next unveiling carries the eternal formula that ensures your abundance becomes a living river. This is where heaven completes its full circle in your life. Type "I am God's living testimony" in the comments if this word resonates in your spirit. Blessing code 717 is now active and shining over your destiny. Beloved guardian of light, the sound of heaven still vibrates through the open portal. The river that began as restoration and grew into multiplication now flows into its next phase, the eternal current of overflow. Archangel Michael stands upon the threshold between realms, his presence burning like the sunrise over creation. His sword, still aflame, points toward the earth, and he declares, "The river shall not end here. What was restored shall overflow. What overflowed shall expand. There will be no end to this stream of grace." These words are not metaphor, they are divine decree. The season of limited blessing has ended. The age of continuous abundance begins. God speaks softly, yet His voice carries the weight of eternity. "I have not blessed you to contain, but to continue." Overflow is heaven's natural rhythm. Where restoration returns what was lost, overflow releases what was never imagined. It is the miracle that becomes movement, the testimony that becomes transformation. Michael says, "Tell them, overflow is not about more. It is about reach." The abundance flowing toward you now is not confined to your life. It is designed to touch lives, heal wounds, and revive destinies around you. Every drop that spills from your cup becomes someone else's breakthrough. Child of divine purpose, do not hold back your light. You are being positioned as a vessel of distribution in this hour. God trusts you to carry increase with humility and wisdom. Every act of kindness you show, every prayer you speak over another, every resource you share becomes part of the divine ripple. The overflow multiplies wherever compassion is released. Heaven's mathematics does not count possessions, it counts impact. Michael whispers, "Those who give from their overflow will never run dry." This is the eternal covenant of provision. You pour out, and heaven pours in. There is a mystery within overflow that few understand. It is not chaos, it is order disguised as abundance. The river never floods what it cannot sustain. God expands capacity before He increases supply. That is why your tests were so intense. You were stretched to hold what is coming. The long waiting seasons were not delays. They were enlargements. Every prayer that felt unanswered was expanding your spirit's vessel. Now that the stretching is complete, the floodgates can remain open without breaking you. Michael says their capacity has met their calling. Now the current may flow. As you walk through the coming days, you will feel this shift tangibly. Ideas will pour faster than you can write them. Opportunities will multiply faster than you can manage them. People will appear unexpectedly, drawn by the light of favor upon you. Do not be overwhelmed. Heaven will guide your steps. The same Spirit that began the work will order the flow. The overflow is not meant to exhaust you. It is meant to carry you. You are not striving to stay afloat. You are gliding on grace. The current of divine abundance sustains itself. God says, I will make you a river, not a reservoir. That means blessings will not pull and stagnate. They will move through you continuously. Your words will carry healing. Your presence will release peace. Your work will bear fruit effortlessly. You are stepping into supernatural ease, the state where heaven's flow overrides human effort. Archangel Michael commands his legions to protect this ease from corruption, ensuring that pride or fear cannot interrupt it. The overflow is sanctified. It moves only through those who remain surrendered. Beloved, remember that overflow requires flow. Stagnation invites loss. Keep your spirit in motion through worship, generosity, and awareness. Every time you pause to thank God, the current intensifies. Gratitude is the rhythm of overflow. It keeps the river clean. The Spirit whispers, do not cling to outcomes. Cling to me. That single sentence holds the secret of sustained increase. When you focus on the source, the supply never stops. When you focus on supply, the source withdraws to teach trust. Overflow thrives in surrender. This new phase also carries divine influence. The abundance flowing through you will not only bless individuals, it will reform environments. Offices, families, and communities will shift under your presence. Light changes atmospheres, and you are now light embodied. When you walk into a place, the vibration of lack will dissolve. Archangel Michael says they will carry heaven wherever they go. This is overflow as transformation. The energy of restoration that once healed you now emanates from you, healing others effortlessly. Pause here and feel the immensity of what heaven has entrusted to you. The overflow is both responsibility and reward. It means you have graduated from asking for miracles to becoming one. When others encounter you, they will encounter the evidence of God's abundance. That is why this stage is sacred. You are heaven's living stream. Guard this flow carefully, not by fear, but by awareness. Keep your motives pure, your intentions anchored in service. Michael reminds you, overflow must move through open hearts, not clenched fists. And now, God speaks once more. The era of return has completed its circle. I am dwelling in their midst. This is the ultimate purpose of overflow. Not possession, but communion. Heaven's abundance is not meant to separate you from God, but to draw you deeper into partnership. You are no longer praying for blessing. You are conversing with the blesser. Your relationship has matured from request to co-creation. The open portal remains because it is now part of you. You carry it wherever you go. Beloved, the next and final revelation will bring the cycle to completion. It will unveil the eternal seal that locks your abundance, your legacy, and your purpose into divine eternity. It is the benediction of heaven, the closing of this portal not as an ending but as the beginning of unending communion. Stay with this flow. The final unveiling carries heaven's ultimate decree for your destiny. Type "I am the river of God" in the comments if this revelation speaks to your soul. Blessing code 848 is now flowing through your atmosphere, ensuring your overflow remains eternal. Beloved child of the Most High, the hour of completion has come. The river that began as a drop of restoration has become an ocean of divine communion. The portals of heaven remain open, but they no longer hover above you. They dwell within you. Archangel Michael stands before the throne, radiant and solemn, holding the final scroll of this revelation. He lifts it toward the light of the Almighty and declares, "It is finished in glory." The circle has closed, and the covenant stands unbroken. What began as a promise of return now becomes a permanent state of divine partnership. You are no longer waiting for heaven to move. Heaven moves through you. God's voice descends like thunder wrapped in mercy. I am sealing what I have begun. Nothing can reverse it, for it is written in eternal fire. These words mark the completion of a heavenly transaction. Every season of pain, every tear, every prayer whispered in uncertainty has now merged into divine wholeness. You have crossed from restoration into reign. The same hand that returned your fortune now anoints you to govern it with grace. This is no longer just about blessing. It is about dominion, the authority to protect, nurture, and multiply what heaven has entrusted. Archangel Michael speaks with calm authority. Tell them they are the carriers of the living covenant. The light that surrounds you now is not temporary favor. It is inheritance made visible. God's favor no longer visits occasionally. It abides permanently. You have become the dwelling place of divine overflow. Your thoughts are now guided by wisdom that cannot be corrupted, your heart protected by peace that cannot be stolen. You are walking proof that heaven remembers and restores. The life you live from this day forward will preach louder than any sermon. Beloved, this is the final mystery. Restoration was never about returning to what was lost, but revealing who you truly are. Every loss stripped away illusion. Every delay purified your vision. Every hardship refined your spirit until only truth remained. And that truth is this: you are never empty. The fortune, the peace, the strength, the purpose you sought were always hidden within you, waiting for faith to unlock them. Michael says they searched for gold, but they were gold. They prayed for light, but they were light. The awakening of that truth marks your divine maturity. Heaven is now entrusting you with influence that transcends time. What you release from your life will ripple into eternity. The words you speak in faith will continue to create long after your voice grows silent. The works of your hands will carry energy that restores others. You are now a living portal of grace. God says, "I will use you as evidence that I still move among my people." Wherever you go, the atmosphere will adjust to your anointing. This is the fulfillment of the prophecy, heaven on earth through vessels of light. Take a moment and feel the stillness that now rests in your atmosphere. That is not emptiness, it is completion. When heaven finishes its work, silence follows because there is nothing more to strive for. This silence is sacred confirmation that the portal remains open in perfect balance. You are in alignment with divine will. Michael's sword lowers gently, its fire now transforming into pure light. He smiles and says, "The war has ended, peace has won." The resistance that once opposed your destiny no longer has jurisdiction. You are free from cycles of loss, free from battles of delay. Now, God's Spirit begins to breathe new instruction. Guard the covenant by living in awareness. This means your task is not to earn what you already have, but to remain conscious of it. Awareness is your armor. When you remember who you are, no shadow can deceive you. When you act from peace, no storm can shake you. This awareness will sustain your legacy through every season ahead. Your blessings will continue multiplying naturally because you are now synchronized with divine rhythm. The river of overflow now transforms into a sea of continuity. Every wave carries another generation, another dream, another miracle. The blessings that began in your life will not end with you. They will flow through the ages. Michael says, tell them, their story has become prophecy. That means others will find faith through the memory of your endurance. Your life will stand as a monument of divine faithfulness long after this age has passed. What you have entered is not a temporary revival. It is eternal communion. Beloved, the Spirit of God now lifts his hand over your life. Behold, I make all things new, he says. Every cell of your being, every corner of your history, every part of your future is renewed by divine breath. The past no longer defines you. The future no longer intimidates you. You stand as one with heaven's plan, fearless and fulfilled. Archangel Michael bows before the throne and seals your name within the book of completion. It shines like crystal, surrounded by fire that will never fade. The covenant is eternal, the promise irreversible. Pause for one final moment and let gratitude overflow. Speak softly, I am complete in God's light. Those words are not just affirmation, they are declaration. They echo in the unseen and solidify your standing. You have walked through restoration, preservation, multiplication, legacy, and overflow, and now you rest in completion. The angels rejoice, the heavens sing, and your spirit finally understands that the journey was never about finding heaven, but realizing it was within you all along. If this message has stirred your soul, like, share, and comment to awaken others who are still searching for what you have found. Subscribe so that every new revelation from heaven reaches you without delay, because divine communion continues to flow through this mission. Your engagement is not algorithmic, it is alignment with purpose. Type I am complete in the light in the comments if your spirit bears witness to this word. Blessing Code 999 has been released to seal this covenant for eternity. Beloved co-heir of divine abundance, as this revelation closes in glory, remember, this is not the end of the message, but the beginning of your ministry. Heaven calls those who have received to now become senders. Every act of support for this sacred mission keeps the current of revelation flowing to hearts across the world. When you sow through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are fueling a global awakening. God says, those who build my altar will never lack oil. Your seed is not donation. It is covenant participation. You are joining heaven's campaign to flood the earth with light. As you give, the same overflow you have witnessed will multiply back into your life. This is divine reciprocity, the eternal exchange between gratitude and glory. Step into it boldly and watch as heaven honors your obedience with new dimensions of favor, wisdom, and unstoppable peace.